Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the All Be Stamped channel. Today we're doing another interview, and we have Ted on. You probably have heard of him from the Ted Talk Stamps channel. But recently he was on a trip for 3 months in Europe, and one of the places he visited was Madeira, which is a small island off the coast of Portugal, and he collects stamps from there. So today we're going to be interviewing him about the stamps of Madeira. Could you please introduce yourself for anybody who doesn't know who you are?
All right, I am Ted, last name Tyszka. It's a Polish name, and I have the YouTube channel Ted Talk Stamps, and that's all.
Cool. So, like I was saying, you just got back from a trip in Europe. What places besides Madeira did you visit?
I started off in Germany, visiting my family there. I have cousins, and from there we went to France. We went to mainland Portugal, and then we spent a lot of time, about 7 weeks on the island of Madeira, because it is a paradise. It is a beautiful island.
Nice. Did you have? Oh, sorry. Are you done?
And then we ended up back in Germany again because that's where our flight was out of.
Oh, yeah. Cool. Um, did you have an opportunity to visit any stamp dealers?
I was hoping to, but just the way things worked out, they never did. My cousin had us busy every day, taking us to one, site or another to
Yeah.
visit museums and everything. And one time I even said, "Hey, there's a stamp dealer in your town here."
Yeah.
Still didn't even make it there. So I did make it to the post office a couple of times.
Good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I got some of the letters or postcards you sent me. They're pretty cool. I really like the longer one from the Germany. Is it called like Nuremberg or something?
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, so I like that one. And then you sent me some stamps from Portugal, some mint stamps. I really like them, especially they're just pretty whale one and I think a deer one.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So you visited Germany, France, and Portugal. Do you collect the stamps of those countries?
Well, just as far as that, I'm a worldwide collector, and I do,
Yeah.
I don't specialize. I really only Germany is a major collecting area because, like I said, I have family. That's my heritage. My mother was born and raised in Germany, and this really spurred me on to get more serious with my German collection because just seeing the historical sites and the museums just gave me an urge to
Mm-hmm.
delve, dig deeper into German history and my German heritage.
Yeah.
But otherwise, Portugal, well, France, I do here and there. Everyone loves stamps of France. They're really beautiful.
Yep.
But
I
I'm collecting the various Marianne stamps that have been issued over the years because Marianne is not a a set image. Her image has changed over the years, and so
no.
I'm collecting the various issues to do a future YouTube episode about. And then
Yeah.
Portugal, I'm not real deep into either, but I've always liked the 1898 Vasco da Gama issue.
Oh yeah.
Still don't have. And
Are they pretty expensive?
no, they're not. They're not really expensive. Just I've never come across real nice copies that I, wanted to
Yeah.
buy. And then recently I got into what's called the cameos. Uh, the first issues of Portugal all depict the monarch at the time, the king or the queen, and they're just white embossed cameos of the head
Yeah.
of the reigning monarch, and I really like those. because they remind me of the Gambia issues, which I do have a couple of. They're the same thing, just embossed white cameo profiles of Queen Victoria on the
Yeah.
island. And then, so I thought, man, that'd be a kind of a neat thematic collection to collect these cameo issues of whatever countries might issue them. I found that Iceland has a couple of issues too, showing their independence hero. His name's John. Oh boy, I forget his name now. Let me check my notes here.
Okay.
Oh yeah, Jan Sigurdsson,
Okay.
the hero of the Icelandic independence, and then an issue with King Frederick VIII, who was actually a Danish king, but over Iceland also at the time. So there's a couple of cameo issues there, and I'm not sure of any others. If anyone else watching this can let me know what other countries have these similar cameo issues.
Uh-huh.
Appreciate it.
Thanks. Yeah. I heard you mentioned about when I asked you about France when I was first starting out stamp collecting, not like first starting out, but when I was still kind of a beginner, I bought this like grab bag off of eBay. It was like a pretty big one. It was like, and it was only $8. It was like worldwide, and it had a lot of older stamps, including older stock book pages with a bunch of older stamps. Unfortunately, they're all very badly hinged, but like they had multiple hinges on them. But in that grab bag, most of the stamps were a bunch of French stamps. So I got a bunch of repeating French stamps, and some of them still were on paper and stuff. So I still have to soak them off. But I did get a lot of French stamps from that bag. It was a lot of stamps. So I saw some of the pictures you took on the island of Madeira. It's a beautiful place. Isn't Madeira part of Portugal, or is it not?
Yes, it's an autonomous territory. Actually, I mean, it's they come under the Portuguese constitution and everything, but they are self-governing, and they even issue their own stamps. And Portuguese stamps are still valid on Madeira, as well as Madeira stamps being
Okay.
in Portugal. And it's a pretty interesting place too. Madeira was never a colony. It was discovered in 1419, and one of Madeira is actually an archipelago. It's made up of 4 main islands, one of them being Porto Santo, and Porto Santo was first discovered by some Portuguese explorers.
Yeah.
They had run into bad weather or something, and they found that island, and they landed there. And then they noticed off in the distance a cloudy area that looked like there might be another island out there.
Yeah.
So they explored, and they found the island of Madeira, and it was totally deserted. No people lived on there at all.
Wow.
So they named the island for Portugal.
Interesting. Yeah.
So, and Madeira, they first issued their stamps in 1868, which were 4 values of the Portuguese 1866 series, just overprinted with the name Madeira. Those are Scott catalog numbers 2 through 4, and for some reason Scott does not list a Madeira number 1.
Weird.
Probably because I guess because at one time there was a listing for it, and then for some reason they the Scott catalog editors determined that it wasn't a valid issue, I guess, so they just removed it.
Huh. Interesting.
So numbering starts with number 2. So that was in 1868. Up until 1982, they used those overprinted stamps. In 1892, the the Madeira, the Portuguese government uh, decided to, for administrative purposes, to just name that region Funchal. Funchal is the capital city of Madeira, but for administrative purposes, they decided to call the whole island Funchal.
Uh,
And they started issuing stamps inscribed with the name Funchal. So I had always seen these stamps before with Funchal. I thought they were for the city of Funchal. No, it turns
yeah.
out the whole island,
Hmm.
and they were used for throughout the island. And then and that continued on till 1905. The island was called Funchal. However, I mentioned the 1898 Vasco da Gama stamp issue.
Yep.
It was an omnibus issue, actually. Omnibus issue being like what Great Britain does when they have some kind of like say the royal wedding, and not just Great Britain, but all the British
Oh yeah.
countries, the
Uh-huh.
islands, Bahamas, Canada, any country that comes under the whole British Commonwealth umbrella.
Yeah, I've noticed that. I didn't know they're called that, but yeah, I have noticed that. Like, I'll have the same exact stamp, but a different country.
So Portugal issued the Vasco da Gama issue for the 400th anniversary of finding the sea route to India, and the Portuguese colonies at the time all issued them too. You had Portuguese India, Portuguese Africa, but those territories and colonies, they just their stamps were just the stamps of Portugal overprinted with that colony's names,
Yeah.
whereas Madeira got its own stamps inscribed, in the design, Madeira. And like I said, I don't know why they didn't say Funchal, since that's
Yeah.
because the regular definitive stamps that were still being issued still said Funchal. But anyways, be that as it may.
Uh-huh.
So in 1905, the name reverted back to Madeira. So yeah, Madeira issued in 1928. They issued the set of stamps, the series of series. That's the name. And those were printed with the name Madeira.
Yeah.
And that was actually the last set of stamps issued for Madeira. After that, they just went back to using the stamps of Portugal until 1988. In 1976, Madeira, along with the Azores, the Azore Islands, they were granted their autonomy and allowed to form their own government and legislative bodies.
Yep.
And it took 4 years, 1980, before Madeira just started issuing their own stamps and with their own designs, their own names, separate from Portugal. And you can see those. Again, you can flash them on the screen.
Yep, I will.
Have the dual inscription, Portugal, Madeira.
Okay. Okay. Anything else you'd like to say about Madeira?
Yeah, I like Madeira as a area to collect for new issues, because they only release 2 or maybe 3 at the most issues per year. So you maybe 8 or 10 stamps. So
yeah,
very affordable, and they're not like some countries that just keep the print presses rolling and just out for the collectors. And they're very nice stamps. They're they're good quality printing. So it's easy to collect without going broke. And if you like new issues, Madeira is a good one to collect.
Good. Okay, so I think that wrapped it up. It was a short program. So it's just like a little video for anybody who wants to learn more about the postal history or stamps of Madeira. Thanks for joining us on and telling us a little bit about Madeira. I didn't know anything about Madeira before this, really.
Oh yeah, Columbus has a history with Madeira too.
He does.
He married
Interesting.
the daughter of one of the early governors of the island.
Oh, I didn't know that. No way.
He settled on the island of Porto Santo. So yeah, and in fact, when I was on the island of Madeira, I saw more references and statues for Columbus than I did for Vasco da Gama. I thought that was funny.
Oh yeah, because Vasco da Gama, he found the island, right? Or found.
No, that's Gonzalo. Gosh, man, the names
Oh yeah.
in my mind now. But
Or
yeah,
sorry, wait. What did Vasco da Gama have to do with the island again?
the guy who discovered Madeira, his name is Joao Gonçalves or Gonçalves. I'm sorry to my
No, or
Portuguese.
about it. Yeah.
I think it's anyways, yeah. But Columbus didn't have anything to do with discovering Madeira, but he did
Yeah.
and married the governor's daughter.
Funny. And so yeah, Vasco da Gama, what did he have to do with Madeira? Did he just happen to port there on the way to India?
He's just like Portugal's greatest
Oh,
explorer.
okay. Okay.
Discovered the sea route to India.
Yeah. That I mean, it kind of makes sense because Columbus, he's famous. Like if you ask, anybody knows about him, but not everybody knows about Vasco da Gama. But then when you think about, I mean, it is Portugal's most famous person. So I bet if you asked anybody in Portugal, they'd know Vasco da Gama. So it does make sense, yeah. Which is interesting. Because he didn't have anything to do with it except marrying the governor's daughter. So, yeah.
One other thing that impressed me about Madeira and Portugal too is, you hear about all these famous cathedrals. Germany has a lot of big cathedrals. France has Notre Dame Cathedral. Well, what impressed me about Portugal is even their smallest churches, just their smallest parish church. You go inside and they are fancy. They have fancy carvings and the statues and figures and
Yeah. Did you say in Madeira or in Portugal?
both. Yeah.
Both, okay. Yeah. Yeah, I know. Yeah, every time you think of like awesome churches, you think of Germany.
They have the fanciest cathedrals, but Portugal has the fanciest, local churches.
Nice. Yeah, I mean, yeah, that'd be. I want to visit. Yeah, that'd be cool. To go there. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Anyways, so yeah, this was fun.
Yeah, I know.
Let's do it again sometime.
Yeah, I know. We should start like a little like series like little programs where we just talk about one country that maybe you collect or I should start a little series with like people who collect different countries, like Madeira. Yeah.
Hey, like Bob collects stamps. His specialty are the 3-cent stamps from the U.S.
Oh, I didn't know that. I knew he did something about sharks one time. That was pretty cool.
Yes.
Yeah. Thanks for joining me today. This could be the start. This could be the start of a great country by country program with like where I interview different philatelists that collect countries.
Yeah, check out Gavin, the digital philatelist.
Oh yeah.
He's got a speciality also.
Yeah, like Bahamas and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks for joining me.
Thank you. See you later.
See you later. Bye.